The Christian saw the hardy warrior come, and leaped forth to undertake the fight. The people round about gave place and room, and wondered on that fierce and cruel sight. Some praised their strength, their skill, and courage some. Such and so desperate blows struck either knight, that all that saw forgot both ire and strife, their wounds, their hurts, forgot both death and life. One struck, the other did both strike and wound. His arms were surer, and his strength was more. From Tisipherne the blood streamed down around. His shield was cleft, his helm was rent and tore. The dame that saw his blood besmear the ground, his armor broke, limbs weak, wounds deep and sore, and all her guard dead, fled and overthrown, thought, now her field lay waste, her hedge lay down. Environed with so brave a troop but late, now stood she in her chariot all alone. She feared bondage, and her life did hate. All hope of conquest and revenge was gone. Half mad and half amazed from where she sate, she leaped down, and fled from friends and fone. On a swift horse she mounts, and forth she rides alone, save for disdain and love, her guides. In days of old, Queen Cleopatra so alone fled from the fight and cruel fray, against Augustus great, his happy foe, leaving her lord to loss and sure decay. And as that lord for love let honour go, followed her flying sails and lost the day. So Tisipherne the fair and fearful dame would follow, but his foe forbids the same. But when the pagan's joy and comfort fled, it seemed the sun was set, the day was night. 'Gainst the brave prince with whom he combated he turned, and on the forehead struck the knight. When thunders forged our Antiphius' bed, not Bronte's hammer falls so swift, so right. The furious stroke fell on Rinaldo's crest, and made him bend his head down to his breast. The champion in his stirrups high upstart, and cleft his hauberk hard and tender side, and sheathed his weapon in the pagan's heart, the castle where man's life and soul do bide. The cruel sword his breast and hinder part, with double wound unclosed and opened wide, and two large doors made for his life and breath, which passed, and cured hot love with frozen death. This done, Rinaldo stayed and looked around, where he should harm his foes or help his friends. Nor of the pagan saw he squadron sound. Each standard falls, ensign to earth descends. His fury quiet then and calm he found. There all his wrath, his rage, and rancour ends. He called to mind how, far from help or aid, Armida fled, alone, amazed, afraid. Well saw he when she fled, and with that sight the prince had pity, courteous, and care. He promised her to be her friend and knight, when erst he left her and the island bare. The way she fled he ran and rode aright, her palfrey's feet signs in the grass outwear. But she this while found, out an ugly shade, fit place for death, where naught could life persuade. Well pleased was she with those shadows brown, and yet displeased with luck, with life, with love. There from her steed she lighted, there laid down her bow and shafts, her arms that helpless prove. There lie with shame, she says, disgraced, o'erthrown. Blunt are the weapons, blunt the arms I move. Weak to revenge my harms, or harm my foe. My shafts are blunt, ah, love, would thine were so. Alas, among so many, could not one draw blood, one wound or rend his skin? All other breasts to you are marble stone. Dare you then pierce a woman's bosom thin? See, see, my naked heart, on this alone employ your force, this fort is eth to win. And love will shoot you from his mighty bow, weak is the shot that dripple falls in snow. I pardon will your fear and weakness past, be strong, mine arrows, cruel, sharp, against me. Ah, wretch, how is thy chance and fortune cast, if placed in these thy good and comfort be? But since all hope is vain, all help is waste, since hurts ease hurts, wounds must cure wounds in thee, then with thine arrow stroke, cure stroke of love, death for thy heart must solve and surgeon prove. And happy me if, being dead and slain, I bear not with me this strange plague to hell. Love, stay behind, come thou with me disdain, and with my wronged soul forever dwell, or else with it turn to the world again, and vex that night with dreams and visions fell, and tell him, when twixt life and death I strove, my last wish was revenge, last word was love. And with that word half mad, half dead she seems, an arrow poignant, strong and sharp she took, when her dear knight found her in these extremes, now fit to die, and pass the Stygian brook, now pressed to quench her own in beauty's beams, now death sat on her eyes, death in her look, when to her back he stepped, and stayed her arm, stretched forth to do that service last harm. She turns, and ere she knows, her lord she spies, whose coming was unwished, unthought, unknown. She shrieks, and twines away her baneful eyes. From his sweet face she falls dead in a swoon, falls as a flower half cut, that bending lies. He held her up, and lest she tumble down, under her tender side his arm he placed, his hand her girdle loosed, her gown unlaced. And her fair face, fair bosom he bedews with tears, tears of remorse, of ruth, of sorrow, as the pale rose her colour lost renews, with the fresh drops fallen from the silver morrow. So she revives, and cheeks empurpled shows, moist with their own tears, and with tears they borrow. Thrice looked she up, her eyes thrice closed she, as who says, let me die ere look on thee.